Everybody having a good time? Awesome, great. I am DocOpp. That's short for Oppenheimer. So I hope you've all seen the movie. No? I gotta tell you, it's a really tough role model. I just hope I don't bomb. I'm actually a real doctor. I'm a retired cancer surgeon. Cancer surgeon's a pretty stressful occupation. Long cases, complicated life and death stuff. So a few years ago I decided, I need to change. I need something more creative, more right brain, less stress. So I quit my job and moved to LA to be an actor. Yeah, it was a great move. Because I found out there's a prerequisite for being a good actor and comic in LA. You have to have three things. First thing is you have to have a traumatic, fucked up childhood. Me, I got a bar of soap in my mouth once in a while. The other two, you have to be an ex-addict or an ex-alcoholic. Me, I'm an ex-surgeon. But being a surgeon is pretty cool. Saw a lot of crazy shit in my career, especially in my training. Like one night I go to the emergency room and I see a guy with a penile injury. I asked him what the problem was. He says, "Doc, I stuck my dick in a vacuum cleaner." I'm thinking, why would a guy do that? Any of you guys out there do that? You, sir, you ever do that? You sure? All right, I'm trying to figure out, a vacuum cleaner, I'm trying to figure, it's got a long metal tube, it's got a strong suction on one end, so I figure he sticks it in, it's like getting a blowjob or a suck job, right? So I asked him, what's the injury? And he pulls down his pants, and the tip of his dick looked like shredded beef. Yeah. Turns out the vacuum was a shark. But no, he didn't stick it in that. You know when you flip the vacuum over, it's got that little rotating blade on it? He stuck it in that end. His friend said it felt good. So I had to take him to surgery. I was able to fix him up. And I told him when he goes home, next time try a dustbuster. But I have to put a disclaimer out here. I had an audition for a comedy show recently, and the guy told me I need to be more vulnerable. And I looked up and I said, fuck that, I'm a surgeon. If you want vulnerable, go see a primary care comedian. Because, primary care doctors, they're more like actors. They sort of try shit and see what happens. Surgeons were more like comics. We go in, we do it, we get out. Only difference is when a stand-up kills, they don't get sued. But I did have an event, life-changing event recently that I think made me more vulnerable. I became a grandfather. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. A beautiful 7-month-old baby girl, just gorgeous. So I'm doing the grandfather thing, and I'm singing their lullabies like rock-a-bye baby on the treetop. When the bell breaks, the cradle will fall. Down will come baby, cradle and all. And I'm thinking, what sick fuck wrote this? My little baby granddaughter's gonna come down, crash her head, and have an intracranial bleed? That's sick. And what about the other lullabies I started thinking about? What about Jack and Jill? Jack and Jill went up the hill. Jack fell down, he had a skull fracture. And we don't know what the fuck happened to Jill. How about Humpty Dumpty? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, he fractured his entire eggshell and all his vertebrae. And then there's Hey Diddle Diddle. Hey Diddle Diddle? Yeah, I'm not gonna touch that one. No. But the worst of them all, the worst is 3 blind mice. You got a pair of psychotic farmers that watch little mice run around, they get bored, cut their tails off, and watch them bleed to death. That's some sick shit. It's no wonder our kids don't grow up all fucked up. But speaking of fucked up, maybe that's why some guys, when they grow up, stick light bulbs up their ass. Yeah, it's not a bright idea. But it's very satisfying as a surgeon when we take it out and it still works. I think, how did you know we did that? Yeah, we plug it in. But it's also where they got the idea for the original blacklight. You get that one? Right. I saw a guy from the airport, with a Coke bottle up his ass. He didn't make it past the TSA screen because it had more than 3 ounces of liquid in it. You get that one, right? But I'm more serious now. I did see a guy in the emergency room once for abdominal pain. He said it was food poisoning. So I go over to examine him. As I get close to him, I hear this buzzing noise. Zzz. I see his belly sort of moving a little. I said, "You sure it's food poisoning?" He said, "Well, Doc, maybe I sat on something." Maybe? You didn't know? So I sent him for an x-ray. Sure enough, he's got an object in his belly. It looks just like this microphone. Yeah, he sat on a dildo. And you guys do that? So I had to take him to surgery to get it out. I open him up, I go to take it out. There it is, it's still vibrating. Now there's a commercial for the Energizer battery. It's also a great commercial for the dildo company. Takes a licking, keeps on ticking. You know, it got me thinking, that saying, if somebody's really angry at you, and you look at them and say, "What, you got a bug up your ass?" I don't think it was a bug. But these things happen to women too. I saw a woman once in the emergency room with lower abdominal pelvic pain. So I have to do a manual exam. I have to put my hand in there and feel what's in there. I put my hand in there, and I feel this really firm, round mass. And I go, "Oh shoot, she's got a tumor." But then it came out in my hand. I take it out, it's a Wilson tennis ball. Yeah, her last game ended in douche. More seriously, I saw a woman with vaginal bleeding. So I asked her if there's anything unusual going on, and she said, "Well, I think there's something stuck down there." So I have to go take a look. So I have a device, it's called a speculum. I put it in there and I open it up, and as soon as I open it up, out pops a little glass tube about this big. There's a crack pipe. Yeah, she took the word crack too literally. Either that or some guy really did lay his pipe down in her. But the penis causes a lot of problems, but the prostate's even worse. Prostate, most important organ in the male body, because it controls your urination and ejaculation. Problem is, you get older, the prostate gets bigger. The bigger the prostate is, the more you gotta pee, right? You guys know that, right? I was going every 1 to 2 hours for a while. So one of the treatments is actually Cialis. It's a drug for ED. And it's great because it cuts down on your peeing, but then I feel like I gotta come all the time. And now I'm getting older, right? And I have sex. Half the time I can't tell if I'm coming or going. It's terrible.
Yeah, what do you want?
But I actually had prostate surgery a few months ago. I had to have it. I won't go into the gory details, they pretty much ream it out. But they don't tell you everything. They leave a catheter in there overnight. I woke up in the morning with an erection. With the catheter. I'm telling you, it's hard to keep a good man down. But one of the other complications of the surgery is called RE. It's called retrograde ejaculation. That's when you come, it goes inside instead of outside. Yeah, that's my wife's dream come true. But I'll tell you, recently I heard that Elon Musk and Bill Gates were forming a new company to make new ED meds. Yeah, they're calling it Elongate. That commercial for Viagra, where they say, "If you have an erection that lasts more than 4 hours, you seek urgent medical care." Well, if you're a young guy with an erection lasting more than 4 hours, you are definitely seeking professional care, but only from someone who takes cash. In fact, one time I saw a guy in the emergency room with a persistent erection. His last thing, I asked him what the problem was. He said, 6 to 8 hours. I said, "What drugs do you take?" He said, "None." I said, "Well, what's the problem?" He pulls down, I look at his penis, and it's got a little white thing sticking out of it. Yeah. I looked down, it was a pipe cleaner. He's one of those DIY guys, do it yourself. Don't do that. Anyhow, as you get older, things change. Like when you get older, having sex changes. Like when you're young, you have sex everywhere, right? You have sex in the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, wherever. But when you're a little older, you have what's called middle-age sex. Pretty much you just do it in the bedroom. And then when you're a little older, you get divorced, you have courtroom sex. That's when the lawyers fuck you everywhere. And then when you get really old, you have what's known as senior sex, better known as hallway sex. You're sleeping in separate rooms, you pass each other in the hallway, and you say, "Fuck you." And I think that's about my time. Thank you.